What is up, YouTube? Mr. King coming at you from the studio in the 209. So today, here are the Belver questions. Please pause the video now and get those in. And then next, what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be taking some notes. And then you miss a coup since you were in a class. And then we have a grade check survey. So first, here's some announcements. So grades are up to date. I put the extra credit for JoJo. And then progress reports are coming out soon, probably in a couple weeks. Today, this is what we're doing. We're going to predict where organisms fall on the energy pyramid triangle. So it's kind of like a food chain. So if you can, go to classwork, go to food web notes, and then click food web notes here. And then while I go over the notes, as you remember, put the definition here, and then get a picture or an example, or use a word in a sentence. Okay? So while I go over the notes, please pause the video at each time, and then get the definition, and then get a picture on the Cornell notes. So first we have consumer / heterotroph. So what this is, consumers are us or any animal and organism that must consume, like eat, other organisms for nutrients. That would be a consumer. So pause the video now, put that in the left side of your Cornell notes, and then on the right side, get a picture or use the word in a sentence. Next, we have the opposite. That's a producer. Producers are plants because they make their own food. Plants, algae, plankton, these are all things that can use photosynthesis, which takes energy from the sun, carbon dioxide, and water to make their own food. So that's a producer. Producers make food. They don't need to eat it. Pause the video now, put that in your notes. Next, we have decomposer. So decomposers are worms, mushrooms, other fungi, bacteria, anything that breaks down the remains of dead plants and animals for food. They basically take dead things and then turn them into nutrients. So that's how it works. It's pretty cool. And then the nutrients in the soil actually go back to plants. So that's kind of the cycle of life. Producers make food, consumer will eat the food, and then when a consumer dies and the plant dies, they'll go to the decomposer. Okay. The next thing I want you to know, trophic level. So in your notes, say it's a position in the food web or pyramid. So for example, producers are the lowest trophic level. Producers are the lowest because they support the rest of the triangle. They give food to everything else. And they're not consuming, they're just producing. So they're always going to be at the bottom of a food chain. So as a reminder, you guys should be putting these all in your Cornell notes. Okay. Next one. So after trophic level, we've got, so the reason why producers are at the bottom, remember, producers provide food for the rest of the chain. And that includes, producers will include like any veggies that you see at the store, algae, plankton. These are all things that are producers. Next, I want you to think, what are some animals that you know that only eat plants? Pause the video now, try and think, what are some animals that only eat plants? If you guys know, you should be thinking about like herbivores. So that's something that eats only plants, or vegetarians, deer, cow, goats, donkeys, horses, rabbits. These are all things that only eat plants. They don't eat other animals, only eat plants. So that would be a primary consumer. That's one step above producer. We have primary consumer. After primary consumer, we have secondary. This is like the in-between point. So this is an animal that eats primary consumers and it gets eaten by other things. So that would include birds, a fox, a snake, a mouse. These all eat herbivores, and they can eat insects too. Herbivores, insects, plants. But the thing is, this is the between stage. So these eat animals and they get eaten by other animals. Okay. Tertiary consumer is the top of the food chain. So these are like your lions, your orca whales, your hawks, your wolves. They eat everything else and they're the apex predator. That is all we did for that day. So when you're ready, don't turn in the notes just yet, and then take the check-in survey.